We've gathered 3 professional chefs to blind test taste every supermarket frozen dumpling brand we could get our hands on to see which ones meet their standards. All dumplings have been prepared following the cooking instructions in the back of their packaging. Twin Marquis Jiaozi dumpling.
They remind me of the old soy gals, which is basically water-boiled dumplings. They kind of suck into the filling, and they give you this really cool texture in the form of these grooves.
There's a lot of green showing through the skin, which means the skin isn't super thick.
3 delicious dumplings, hopefully. My ideal dumpling, I would love to see a wrapper that is thin, but it has texture and pliability.
Chewy, pliable, bouncy.
Unless it's pan-fried and they want it to be super crispy and seared.
Dumplings are meant to symbolize prosperity in Asian culture, so we do not want to get skimpy on the fillings. We want a nice, full, abundant stuffing in there.
Filling to wrapper ratio is very important.
I just want to be able to taste the ingredients that are in the filling.
When you bite into the dumpling, it should be flavorful and juicy.
We've got some juice coming out of the dumpling, which is great.
It's moist. It's juicy on the verge of going a little bit moist.
It's good texture, so I do like the skin. Silky, has a bite.
It's like soft and chewy, so you're having different textures. Traditionally, you use hot water and flour, and that gives it pliability and chewiness.
It's a solid ratio of the filling to the wrapper. This dumpling is definitely a jiaozi, so it's the Chinese style.
An easy way to identify a jiaozi is the crescent shape. I think is a big one, pork and garlic chive combo.
Now, Chinese chives, often a very strongly flavored vegetable. Some people don't like it actually, but the fact that it's cut with the cabbage, you get that flavor, but it's not overpowering.
I'm gonna guess Twin Marquis. Twin Marquis.
It's a jiaozi dumpling. Pork and Chinese chive, Twin Marquis brand.
People would know this because they make the commercial dumpling wrappers that everybody basically uses. So this packet says fully cooked and then frozen, and I think that explains some of the texture of the filling.
In some restaurants that prepare frozen dumplings, they'll freeze them at the raw state and cook them to order. But when you're dealing with packaged frozen dumplings, I'd say the majority of them are gonna have them fully cooked, and a lot of that is for safety.
I think it's a wonderful introduction for someone to have a traditional style dumpling and get some of those classic flavors.
P.F. Chang's pork dumpling.
Ooh, a pan-fried dumpling.
Classic pot sticker shape. They look nice and plump. People often are referring to pot stickers as gyoza. And again, gyoza are in fact the Japanese style interpretation of a pot sticker. In Mandarin Chinese, pot sticker guo tie literally means stuck to the pot.
When the water and the steam kind of dissipate in the pan and the cooking goes from wet to dry, the top pleats will dry out, so you don't want them too thick. It's one of the ways you can tell that they're machine-made skins.
The thickness of the dough is so thin that you can't even taste that there's pleats in it. So I wouldn't mind a little bit thicker so you can taste the chew.
When it's too thin, you're gonna lose some of the bounciness because it doesn't have enough dough for it to give you that proper bite.
The filling is not flavorful and has a strange flavor that I can't identify.
The dumpling I had before from Twin Marquis had just a little bit more flavor to it. So is this like Panda Express?
P.F. Chang's?
Oh, P.F. Chang.
Oh, it's a P.F. Chang.
The chain Chinese restaurant in the United States. They're the one.
Ginger puree, the wrapper, there's nothing particularly in here that screams like chemicals or artificial. Maybe I'll have to revise my view on this chain just a little bit.
I'd pass on this dumpling.
Laoban pork and chive dumplings.
This one maybe looks to me more like handmade style.
They have texture, unlike the last one that was pan-seared.
Looks pretty nice. I like the look of these dumplings.
Looks crispy, looks delicious, looks juicy, and let's take a bite.
Not very juicy on the interior. A little dry, and the filling doesn't have that much flavor.
It's kind of disappointing. It looks so good.
There's a lot of space in between the wrapper and the filling.
This dumpling does not have as plump of a filling.
The ingredients that are in it aren't popping out tremendously.
You're missing the texture of ground meat in this one. So it just feels like one consistent texture that you can't identify anything that's in there.
The wrapper itself is delicious. It has a nice elasticity to it. The dough for this one is definitely soft, pliable, and you get that layer of crunch going into that kind of chewy al dente pasta texture, but man, that's a letdown with the filling. The vegetable component should really enhance the meat itself, or vice versa. It's not doing anything for either.
Ooh, these are nice.
Laoban dumplings got, from Michelin awarded Chef Tim Ma. So Chef Tim Ma, I apologize, but this is not my cup of tea.
They're using good quality ingredients.
Filling is Berkshire pork.
Unbleached wheat flour, lye water. So we use lye water to actually make the doughs more chewy.
Now, lye water is potassium bicarbonate in solution. It is mixed with a little bit of sodium bicarbonate, otherwise known as like baking soda, right? And that creates an alkaline environment, and when that interacts with the gluten that is present in the flour, it allows you to have more elasticity and spring. Kudos to them for using a little bit of a chef's trick.
Target brand Good and Gather chicken and vegetable pot stickers.
Nice crisp bottom, nice size, looks delicious.
The carrot flavor is actually pretty pronounced in this. Chicken and carrot, maybe some cabbage in there. Flavor is definitely lacking unless you want to eat a carrot dumpling.
So carrots are not giving me traditional Chinese vibes or anything like that.
The wrapper is thin. It still had a bite. Decently folded over the filling pretty tightly.
I'm squishing it, there is some juice to it, but again, what's a little off-putting is that slightly spongy texture.
Good and Gathered chicken and vegetable pot stickers.
This is the house brand for, Target. For a place that also makes clothing and shoes, this is a perfectly acceptable dumpling, I'd say.
Trader Joe's pork gyoza pot stickers.
Oh, this one has pleats. The folding is not great. The ends are not pinched. Looks tasty though.
Nice sheen on the dumplings. The ratio looks a little bit under.
These could be gyoza because the skin is really thin.
And gyoza is the Japanese interpretation of the Jiaozi, which is the original Chinese version. So always a finely textured filling, pan fried so it's crispy, sometimes open on the ends.
Have high hopes. Let's taste. The skin tastes soft and pliable. You're missing extra chew from the lack of pleats.
It's kind of verging on that borderline of being too thin.
The filling has a pretty pronounced white pepper flavor. Looks like it's cabbage.
The filling is juicy, but I would say the flavor is a little lacking.
Just based on the lack of complexity in the flavoring, I think this is maybe like a generic supermarket brand.
Not Trader Joe's, are they?
Oh! Trader Joe's, you let me down, man.
Nailed it, Trader Joe's.
I would eat them again because they're in the freezer and it's already there. I probably wouldn't buy them.
I expected more from you, Trader Joe's. I truly did.
Ajinomoto pork and chicken gyoza dumplings.
It's beautiful.
You can see through them almost, like paper thin.
I love when the wrapper kind of sucks in over the filling.
It's definitely soft and thin and pliable.
It's in your mouth for a little bit and then it's gone.
This wrapper was a lot more delicate, a lot more soft, a little less of a bounce, but it made up for it in that thin, silky wrapper.
I'm getting a little bit of mushiness to the filling. It's savory, it has umami characteristics, depth of flavor, but it's not actually truly complex from natural ingredients. I feel like there must be some flavor enhancers in here.
There might be like a filler in here, like bean thread noodles or something, so you can put less meat in there.
It's not tremendously juicy, but it's juicy enough. I would have liked more flavor in the dumpling.
My guess is this is a gyoza on the packaging. It is a Japanese gyoza. Ajinomoto.
One of the largest companies that make MSG.
Well, it has textured soy protein concentrate, so I think that's probably them cheaping out. We'd rather just have fully pork.
This one has a lot of more complex chemical type ingredients in there.
It says no cooking oil needed for a perfect crisp, although it didn't have a perfect crisp.
So there's rice flour in here. My guess is that's in the wrapper, and that's what's helping the wrapper get really crispy. If they were in my freezer, I'd probably eat them again.
Not terrible, not super delicious, but just kind of middle of the road.
Twin Marquis gyoza dumpling with pork and napa cabbage.
So this set of dumplings almost looks like something that I might make myself at home, just the way that it's pleated. This one looks very promising.
The skin crisped up nicely.
I'm excited to try this one.
The wrapper is supple, silky, has nice chew to it.
They could have allowed for a little bit more filling with the amount of wrapper that they left over in the fold process.
Filling's great. It's one of the better fillings that we've had. Pork and cabbage. The meat is identifiable, definitely juicy. I'm dripping juices here.
Full flavored, not overpowering. I am getting more a natural sense of the ingredients on the inside.
The filling was pretty flavorful and decently juicy.
What makes a dumpling filling juicy is meat that has a decent amount of fat content in there, and you can add stock, and the stock emulsifies with the meat, and you might use egg or cornstarch to seize them all together. And then when you cook it, the juices kind of fall out.
I'm feeling like this is pretty good of a representation of something that was freshly made and then frozen.
More twin Marquis. There you go.
This is the Chinese brand, but they've done this in the Japanese style, which means that the wrapper is especially thin, so it is meant specifically to be cooked as a pot sticker.
Disodium insulinate and disodium guanylate.
Now those are substitutes for MSG,
It's put in there so they don't actually have to say it's made with MSG, because technically it's not.
but yeah, this is solid to me. Yeah, I'd eat this.
So far, I've liked the Twin Marquis dumplings the best.
Did y'all try this one? This one's pretty good.
Bibigo mandu pork and vegetable dumplings.
These are the largest of the dumplings that we've had. Very plump.
So this one potentially could be a Korean style mandu. The amount of filling seems very abundant. And mandu filling typically is always you stuff it till it's about to pop.
Full, plump, nice ratio of filling to wrapper.
The flavor of the filling is pretty good. It's juicy, black pepper forward.
What I'm getting at is a lot more freshness in this dumpling.
It's just moist enough that it's giving me a really satisfying bite.
Some of the things that make a mandu identifiable are glass noodles, and this one definitely has noodles in there as a filler.
All I have is the knock is the crust on the top. When you fold them this way with these pleats, when you cook it with dry heat, the top of the seal gets hard. You want to roll the edges out thinner, so when you fold them, it becomes the same consistent thickness throughout the dumpling, so you don't want them too thick. But I'm demoing a nice new way to eat dumplings if you find a flaw in it. Eat it like you eat pizza and you don't like the crust.
If this is a mandu, my guess is that, well, the one Korean brand I know is, how do you say it, Bibigo?
Bibigo is apparently the way to go sometimes.
Just remember that you can change the cooking method to avoid certain pitfalls. I would recommend the steam version. 8 minutes. So in 8 minutes, you'll have happiness.
I'd eat this again.
Ottogi kimchi and pork jumbo mandu.
My guess is these are another mandu.
Mandu you, mandu me, mandu yummy.
Very plump.
That's that kind of abundant Korean kind of hospitality of like, give it all you got.
Seeing a lot of orange through it, so it's either carrot or seafood or something like that.
Kimchi. Definitely a mandu. The wrapper's thin, a little bit of chew.
I like the spice. It's a little chalky though.
There's a lot of moisture from the kimchi component that's in here. It's very pasty. So for mandu-style dumplings, there are often ingredients that are pre-cooked, and that's in an effort to control the moisture level of the filling. It's all a game of moisture control. This particular dumpling did not quite meet the standard there.
It's mushy.
Almost like we went through a food processor a little bit and like took a detour in the blender for a hot second. So texture's not great on this one.
Ottogi brand. Kimchi and pork jumbo mandu.
There is some tapioca starch in there, and the beauty in that is you can usually see through, and that is kind of just building the anticipation of what the filling is gonna be.
The mushiness of the filling made it for not the greatest bite ever.
Bibigo steamed chicken and vegetable dumplings. Microwave only.
Oh, this one's a new shape. These are round.
The fold on this reminds me of soup dumplings, but they don't look like traditional soup dumplings.
If this is not supposed to be a soup dumpling, then I'm not Asian.
If this is supposed to be a soup dumpling, it looks a little sad. It's not soupy.
They're reminiscent of a soup dumpling, but not a soup dumpling.
The interior is juicy, but not soup dumpling juicy.
The texture of the wrapper just makes it's slightly mushy.
It's a lot of wrapper to filling ratio, but I think that has to do with the choice and shape here.
In terms of flavor, this particular dumpling I think it's very solid. I'm getting vegetable crunchies in there. There is a nice level of umami, kind of richness, savoriness to it.
Hey!
Oh, it's a Bibigo. Ready in 1 minute and 45 seconds in the microwave.
If you're going for speed and convenience, you can't beat a minute and 45 seconds, but you are going to lose some quality along the way.
This is not it. No. No.
Feel good gluten-free pork pot stickers.
This one's giving me Asian aesthetic vibes. It's so pale. Is this gluten-free?
The wrapper is really mushy, like almost goopy. I'm wondering if it's like a gluten-free wrapper.
Are these like gluten-free dumplings?
There's a crisp bottom, and then it's just all mush on the top.
I'm feeling like there is rice flour in here, tapioca starch, some kind of situation.
They're decently juicy. The flavor is okay. There's nothing wrong with it, but it is just one note.
I'd say the filling is moderately tasty. I'm getting some ginger hints in there that's actually pretty forward on the palate.
This is Feel Good Foods. It is always gluten-free. Ding on that one. I don't feel very good.
Oh, cognac flour. Cognac is the tuber of a type of plant, like a Morphothallus family. It gives you this kind of elastic consistency.
Sorry, gluten-free people.
365 Whole Foods vegetable pot stickers.
The wrapper is a little more yellow. Maybe there's egg in it. Maybe they look a little more yellow because we just had the anemic dumpling.
Pretty, consistent.
Sealed very well.
Having a seal is really important. The juice is going to escape from the dumpling, and it's going to create a burn effect on the pan, and then you're just going to taste burnt.
Oh, so they're gonna be like that. Okay. I'm gonna assume that's supposed to be vegetarian, but that ain't it.
It's a little thick and leathery, and it's a little dry. And I think it's like a chewier dough, which I like, but it's almost too thick. It keeps the crisp, though.
Weirdly enough, the wrapper is pliable, has a bounce to it, but doesn't taste good. When you make dumpling dough, you will add salt to the dough. I think that they didn't add anything to this dough. This might be just straight flour water.
Ratio is good of the filling to the dough. It's well filled, but in some ways I wish that the wrapper had exploded and all the filling ran away, because then we wouldn't have to eat that.
The flavor and the texture of the filling is really off-putting.
So I have vegetable dumplings in my restaurant, but I don't puree the vegetables. I julienne the vegetables and keep them crunchy within the skin. So it would be much better to have crunchier, larger chunks of vegetables in this dumpling, but because it's a frozen dumpling, it may not be able to do that. Is this the Whole Foods brand? Whole Foods Market? Vegetable pot stickers.
365, how about 0?
Nasoya tofu vegetable vegan dumpling.
Oh, these are cute. Cute little dumplings. It looks like they made it like with a cookie cutter.
It's not giving me Asian dumpling.
Wrappers, crispy.
Skin's got an okay bounce to it. It's crispy in the right way.
The filling is very mushy and very unidentifiable.
Like cheesy vibes? This one's really confusing to me. If it's tofu, it's been so processed that it's giving me like ricotta cheese grainy vibes.
It's not juicy at all. It's very mushy.
They didn't treat the tofu too great in these. It's one of those ingredients that can make dishes sing. Whoever made the filling for these dumplings should probably find another job.
Is this a collaboration between Poland and China? I don't know.
Nasoya organic vegan tofu vegetable dumplings.
It's not unpleasant, but don't serve this to me as like Asian style dumplings. If you serve it to me as something else, I'd eat it.
Something like this is why people don't like tofu. That makes me kind of sad because I'm a very pro tofu chef.
MìLá pork soup dumplings.
I see some bubbles, kind of motion of liquid in there. This is definitely a soup dumpling.
If they serve this spoon to you, then it's the soup dumplings, or they're also called sulung baos.
Very key in a soup dumpling is that the wrapper keeps its structure, keeps its integrity. Any little hole in there, crack in there, you've lost that juice.
The fillings don't tend to have vegetables in them. And the way that you get the soup is you're adding reduced and gelatinous stock into the filling. So then when you steam it, it becomes liquid.
What you'll do is you'll bite the little top off. And that lets the steam come out, and then you'll just pop it in your mouth and then eat the whole thing. The skin itself is about in the middle there. It's not thin, but it's not overly thick.
I can taste that it's pork. It's not masked by too many flavorings.
It's a little underplump.
But overall, it was flavorful, it was juicy.
Is it like the MìLá
So it's a MìLá soup dumpling, pork, savory and juicy, restaurant quality. These dumplings are about $1 a piece, so it's on the pricier side.
A bucket dumpling? Yeah, soup dumplings are a lot of work.
You could go out to a restaurant, get fresh ones for maybe $16, and you don't have to do dishes, you don't have to turn on the stove, they give you dipping sauce, and they clear your plate.
Trader Joe's pork and ginger soup dumplings.
Ooh, another soup-shaped dumpling.
I wonder if these are the Trader Joe's ones, maybe.
Juicy, probably triple the amount of juice that we got out of the last soup dumpling.
Flavor-wise, it is seasoned, it's not overpowering.
The flavor of the filling, it was very clean and it was very refreshing. Although this wrapper seemed to be a little bit inconsistent.
The skin itself, I think, is a little bit too wet. It's not giving me that al dente kind of chewiness that I'm really looking for.
Trader Joe's soup dumplings, there you go.
These are pretty tasty. I have heard a rumor that these are good though. Even if they were the same price, I would definitely pick this one over the last one.
Now let's see which products our chefs like the most and the least.
Some of my favorites were the first one, which was the straight boiled dumplings from Twin Marquis.
I'm a fan of the Twin Marquis, both of the Twin Marquis. Filling there was one of the more flavorful.
It just gave a very classic flavor profile.
The Bibigo mandu, that one was super plump with a lot of filling.
And the last one, these soup dumplings were really, really flavorful.
My least favorites, unfortunately, the Nasoya tofu.
Yeah, that tofu dumpling was probably my least favorite.
Unless you're telling your friends I'm making ricotta pierogi.
The texture of the gluten-free wrapper, the really mushiness was very off-putting.
And unfortunately, 365, the Whole Foods brand, the vegetarian, no. No.
Dumplings are a happy food.
There's a lot of different options on the market.
It should be everybody's mission to taste and enjoy all of them.
Fill a hole in your heart, fill a hole in your tummy, and maybe bring a smile to your face.